It is feudal Japan, somewhere around the 15th century. You are not a samurai. You wear no armor. You carry no banner. Nobody knows your name, and that is exactly the point. You are a ninja. And almost everything you think you know about what that means is wrong. Forget the black suits. Forget the throwing stars glinting in moonlight. Forget the rooftop acrobatics. The real ninja, the shinobi as they called themselves, were something far stranger and far more interesting than the movies ever showed you. They were not warriors. They were information. Your actual job, most of the time, is to walk into an enemy castle and never be noticed. Not by fighting your way through, not by leaping across rooftops, by pretending to be someone else entirely. A merchant, a monk, a traveling musician. You are an actor before you are a fighter, and the costume you wear most often is not black silk. It is whatever makes you invisible in plain sight. The Bansen Shukai, the great ninja manual written in 1676 and one of the few authentic records of shinobi craft that survives, is surprisingly clear about this. It spends far more pages on disguise, psychology, and information gathering than on combat. It describes how a skilled shinobi must understand human nature deeply enough to predict how a guard will behave, when he will be tired, when he will be distracted, what he is afraid of. You are not trained to fight everyone. You are trained to make fighting unnecessary. You wake before dawn, not dramatically, quietly. The life of a real shinobi is one of patience more than action. You might spend days watching a target location before you move anywhere near it. You study the rotation of guards. You map the shadows. You notice which servant leaves the kitchen gate unlatched on cold mornings because the latch is stiff and nobody wants frozen fingers at 4 in the morning. That is the detail that gets you inside, not a grappling hook, a cold latch. Your tools are real, but modest. A short blade worn close to the body, a length of rope, a small iron tool for forcing latches, smoke powders that can briefly blind or confuse. These are not superhero gadgets. They are a tradesman's kit, chosen because they can be hidden, because they look ordinary, because they leave nothing behind. Here is what the history tells us that almost no one talks about. The clans of shinobi, particularly those from the Iga and Koga regions of Japan, were not lone wolves. They were families, entire communities bound together by shared knowledge passed quietly from parent to child across generations. A ninja village looked from the outside like any other farming village. That was the entire idea. The greatest disguise was not a costume. It was a life that appeared completely ordinary. You train in the dark because real darkness is not like the darkness in films. It is total. Navigating it requires not just physical skill, but memorization. You have walked the path to your target so many times in daylight that you can walk it again by feel alone, counting steps, feeling the change in ground texture beneath your feet, reading wind direction to avoid carrying your scent toward a guard dog. And when the mission is done, if it goes well, no one ever knows you were there. That is the final thing the movies always get wrong. A successful ninja mission leaves no trace, no bodies, no broken windows, no dramatic escape across rooftops with guards shouting below. The best outcome is a feudal lord waking up in the morning to discover that a letter has vanished from his study, or that a rumor has started among his soldiers that he cannot trace back to its source. You were never there. You were never anywhere. You are back in your village before the sun is up, looking exactly like a farmer, because in most ways, that is exactly what you are. The shadow was never the disguise. The ordinary life was.